You're here to change the world, but not change it in the way people think it needs to be changed. There's so many people today who think that simply by speaking or doing or acting differently than other people, that the changes they want to see materialize will manifest. But the problem with this kind of thinking is it's sort of magical thinking. It's a kind of thinking that leads people into delusion because real change only happens within ourselves. Real change only happens within the sphere of our influence. So many people think that by me making this one small change, I will change all these other people, all these other things. In reality, it's really only changing you. Because when you think of, oh, I'm changing me to change everyone else, it's really this weird, twisted form of control you're trying to exert on the world and the areas of your influence that are actually outside of your influence. You should focus on yourself and what you can change about yourself before focusing on what you can change in others. It's really easy to manifest changes in other people when not manifesting changes in ourselves simply by affecting a certain type of behavior that we want to see performed in other people. And so then we start performing it ourselves because we really just want to see it in other people. So there's this kind of delusion that comes with this thinking because we think that by changing all these other people, we're changing the world and we're changing ourselves, but we're not even changing ourselves is the problem. When your motivation for change becomes so other people change, it's no longer your truest purpose for changing. It's no longer about you. You have made it about everyone else. And again, it comes back to control. When you relinquish this idea of control, when you truly focus on yourself, changing your environment and your surroundings so that it changes other people, it will be different. When you want to change other people, you really just need to change yourself. If you're dissatisfied with the world, change yourself. If you're dissatisfied with your thinking, change your thinking. Always focus it, center it on yourself because you're only ever going to be perpetually frustrated and disappointed and upset when you keep looking at the ways in which the world around you is not changing because you want the world around you to confirm these changes you've made within yourself, right? But the world can't confirm anything for you that isn't already there within yourself. It's kind of like if you're not capable of seeing yellow light, you're never going to see yellow light in the world, right? Even if yellow light exists in the world, your eyes are not capable of perceiving it. They're not sensitive to receiving it. You need to focus on first cultivating the ability to receive yellow light within yourself. Then you can look at the rest of the world and say, okay, where is the yellow light? I'm going to seek out the areas with yellow light. This is a metaphor, but it's a very powerful one. It's kind of how, like, people who have no joy within themselves cannot recognize joy within other people. They cannot recognize joy within other situations because they're so perpetually, convincingly beset with this idea that joy doesn't exist outside of themselves. And so when you think joy does not exist outside of myself, then in a way, joy cannot exist within yourself either, because what is within you can exist outside of you, and vice versa. What exists outside of you can exist within you. But we often have this sort of denial of like, oh, the world out there is really bad. So that makes me really good because by contrast, I seem so much better than the world. But that's really like a wrong way, a magical way of thinking about this. We have to cultivate those good things within ourselves. Then we will notice more of those good things around us. It's not that badness doesn't exist within us or within the world around us. It's simply a matter of perspective, of where we are focusing our attention, where we are focusing our efforts. When you're disappointed, look to the sky and see how the sky changes. The sky changes in this really interesting way where it cycles through all the colors of the day. So during the day, it's like a bright blue sometimes, right? Like this cerulean high color of blue. And then as it descends towards evening, it gets this yellow and this gold and the red and the orange. It kind of streaks across the sky, right? And then towards the nighttime, it's these dark blue purple colors, indigo color. And then when it's really dark time, like nighttime, it's a black, right? And then as black starts to break into the day, we again sort of see the yellow and the pink and the rosy gold sort of highlights streak across the sky. And then that sort of fades into this blue again. So there's this sort of kaleidoscope effect that happens with the sky. Many people delude themselves into thinking life is one way. The sky is blue, or maybe the sky is black, but the sky is red, the sky is yellow, the sky is gold and kind of browns and greens. It's all these weird colors sometimes, depending on if there's a storm, is the sun setting or rising? Is it a cloudy night? On those cloudy days where you see this weird greenish miasmic sort of like fog looking situation. Your life is the same way. You've been deluding yourself till now thinking, oh, my life is good or my life is bad, but it's really not. It's great. It's gray. It's a combination of many different things. And the more you can let go of this idea, this concept that like life is good or life is bad, you'll begin to enjoy life more deeply, because life is just simply filled with good or filled with bad. And we can choose the ratio at which we fill. One simple way to fill your life up with more good is to focus on the good things that are brewing in it, the good things that are breeding together in it to create more good things, more good environment. If you do this, you're going to find your happiness multiplies, your joy multiplies. If you perpetually dump sadness or anger or solitude or resentment or loneliness and this sort of thing into your life, you're only going to ever experience that, right? Because that's all your life is capable of reflecting to you, is what is within yourself, because your eyes are attuned to the color of jealousy, of anger, of this fog. That's what you're going to perceive in the world around you, right? When you swap your glasses out, when you swap your eyes out for this sort of lighter color, for this happiness and this joy, you're going to find that. And again, it's not because there isn't darkness in the world. It's not because there's an evil in the world. It's because you're choosing to focus on the stuff you can affect positively. A lot of people get really self-righteous saying that it's spiritual bypassing to focus more on the positive, but that's just because they really enjoy looking at the negative. They really enjoy complaining very bitterly about how much is wrong with the world, because nothing has to change when you just complain about it. So the problem is that people wallow in this sort of pity and disgust and self-hatred and hatred of the world and hatred of others, and they feel very justified because they're like, right, I'm right and the world is wrong and this is terrible, this is bad. And it's like, yes, you are correct, these terrible things are happening, but also what are you doing to change it? What are you doing as a result of it? It's better to spend 15 minutes reading about the news or watching the news and then going about your day and saying, what can I do that actually makes a difference based on this? Maybe you can make a meal from scratch. You can stop participating in stores like that are funding GEN. I don't even want to spell it out, but things that are funding wars, right? Maybe you can stop supporting companies that do that, or maybe you can get in touch with your roots. Maybe you can support your local farmers market. You can support, people, real people that have businesses in your area. Instead of buying something off Amazon, you can buy something from a small, craft creator or someone who grows their own vegetables and fruits. Like, there are so many real life action steps that you can take that are much more productive and make a bigger difference, a bigger impact than complaining all day and still buying on Amazon, still buying from Walmart, still buying processed food, still wearing super fast fashion recycled clothing, right? We can focus on all of those negatives, but again, the problem is there's a satisfaction that comes from that. And in spirituality, it's the same thing. People focus on all these negative, bad, wrong practices that people do, but they're not offering solutions on how to actually live your life better. That's a reason that in this channel, I'm just feeling really called to share stuff that I'm doing, to talk more about my experiences, things that I'm doing to make a concrete, visible impact and difference in my life, because I'm just so tired. I'm just so, so tired of hearing all the negative stuff that people want to, you know, dictate about and just sort of like spit on each other with, but they're not doing anything to change it. It's like you spent 4 hours consuming social media and getting angry about things and saying what people are doing wrong. Yet I haven't even heard you give 5 words of advice on how people can become empowered. How can we actually change as a result of this? People are so satisfied by this sort of masturbatory, like, I'm right and everyone's wrong, and I'm just really sick of it. Um, I paused for a little while on doing some channel messages and things just because it felt like so much is going on in the world. And yet, um, there's also so much going on within myself that it feels like a shame that if there's people out there who want to hear what I have to say or who want to think about things like this, it seems like a shame that I don't share these sort of thoughts, because I think if I have them, other people do too. Um, so I am just sharing a little bit of that with my channel message today, because it's really frustrating walking a spiritual path, walking this path of deeper self understanding in these times, because a lot of people are fear mongering And so I just want to give a little reassurance that if you're just doing even one thing or two things or five things even today that make the world around you a better place, that is enough. That is more than what most people are doing. So by all means, consume the media, and be informed, stay informed to an extent, but also don't forget that the media kind of exists to rob you of your agency. It exists in hopes that you will lose yourself in this self-obsessed, angry spiral of things, right? It hopes you'll become exhausted. It hopes you'll stop making food for yourself, stop making good decisions, and you just buy into the system. So I just want people to know that I think there are many people not doing that, and that don't become too discouraged in this time where you hear of all these bad things happening. Remember, there's always cycles to this, and there's always good. Like, war has always existed with people, and so scary times come and then scary times go, and eventually times of peace come again. So it's kind of just hang in there, keep doing what you're doing. You're meant to change the world, but not in the way that people think you're meant to change it, because changing the world really does just start with changing yourself. um, so I hope that this message finds you well. If it finds you exhausted and slumped over in your bed, that's also fine. But I really hope that this message can lighten the load for you. I hope that it is something that cheers you up and makes you happy. So, anyway, that's enough on this. I'm going to be getting back to doing some more proper channel messages, but I really wanted to put this one out first.